on this behalf, I'm over here at the, one moment. I'll put it on the side of this building. Okay, so I'm over here at the Coast Cottage. Yes, I did build this by myself. It didn't really take that long. I had to use Place Anywhere tool for this lovely stairway to actually work. It is a functioning stairway. It does work for you and your companions and, of course, the lovely settlers. If you have noticed, I am using children as regular settlers. If you're wondering why these guys are so tall, is because that's what the mod did to them. Made them into adult-sized people, so they can function better. It's okay. We can shrink them if you really want to. For whatever reason, sometimes the random generator will process you kids, and they will not be regular settlers. These children have come up to me not wearing any clothes, so I have gotten this mod that gives you children's clothing. I personally really just keep this so I don't have to look at children running around in their underwear because I just, yeah, not cool. Okay.
Working on a farm is really boring.
So as you can see, this is a regular sized kid. The only reason why he's a regular sized kid is because I have kid clothing. I gotta go give this lovely kid some
earn their
clothes.
keep too.
I just want to trade a
Let
few
me give you
things.
some clothes, please. So as you can see, they interact as regular, everyday settlers. For any reason that you're not cool with this, this is not exactly a mod that you may want. But they do work as regular settlers. You can, even if they are in other settlements, get them to working on anything that you specifically want them to work in. It doesn't really matter what it is. You can have them as one of your supply line. You can have them farming, guarding, what have you. Go to it. Basically, once you're done actually giving them their clothes, they should shrink back down to being regular kids. If you'd rather have them as big kids, because whatever, then just leave whatever clothes that they pop up with, and they should be perfectly fine. Function however they want to function and still be kids. Yeah, there he went. He shrunk down.
You know that old insane asylum? Stay away from it. People who poke around up there don't come back.
Okay, so I've had some difficulties with my settlers and have them work on the fields. They will come over here and actually get assigned. As you can see, this guy's already over here doing his thing. He's supposed to be doing his thing. Not all of them seem to correctly connect themselves all the time. It will take like maybe a day or two for them to figure it out in-game, but other than that, they will come over here, do farming stuff, and it will function as long as you have them assigned to it. So there isn't really much of a problem to it. If for any reason you are having difficulties assigning people and you don't know who you've assigned, this Vault-Tec DLC little Vault-Tec population management system comes with the Vault-Tec DLC. It helps you manage your settlers, any settlers that you have popped into your settlement for any reason. If you have lost track of who's doing what and why, that's a really great thing to just pop up. You will find it here in your resources. It should be underneath the power conduit, underneath the miscellaneous, and it'll pop up right here. There you go, your Vault-Tec population. I have a mod that allows me to pop one up without any any of the recommendations, which it takes about 2 rubber, 2 copper, 2 of the circuitry, and 4 aluminum. So if you do not, for some reason, have any of that, this particular mod will allow you to just pop one up, set it in, hook it up, and it works just fine. So if you're wondering why I have colored strung lights, I love them better than just regular strung lights. This is also another mod that I currently have. I feel like the colored lights make it look a little bit nicer here in the settlement. The little settlers don't really give much care. They don't notice the difference. It's mainly for visual effects. And the only person, there you go, okay. I think you grew back up again, but whatever. So if you are building any area, you kind of want to make sure that you bring in a companion, a follow-along NPC, basically to double check your building materials to see if the people can come in and do whatever it is that they need to come and do. Because even though you might be able to walk up and down stairs, doesn't mean necessarily that your NPCs or your companions can. And if they can't, then these guys will not be able to do it themselves because they just don't understand how to use stairs or jump or any of that things. They're not scripted to do any of that. Okay, I forget what the relay disc does. Unlock settlement objects. Okay, so basically when you plug this in, this will unlock settlement objects. I'm not sure if it unlocks every single settlement here in the wasteland. Basically, it will add in things to your list. I already have so many added things, so I have to double check if it actually added anything. This is part of my Unlock Settlement Decorator mod pack that I have. This basically just uniquely colors most of your beds. These do function as regular settler beds. However, a lot of the times the settlers will not just place themselves on top of them for whatever reasons. You want to be careful about that. These children beds, they do work, but if you have the children as regular settlers, they will just connect themselves to regular sleeping beds. As you can see, I have the Tonight You Sleep on the Couch mod, which basically allows your NPCs to come in and sleep on top of this couch instead of a bed. I like these because they kind of save up a lot of room. They're a lot easier to deal with, in my opinion. So if you do have like a lot of mods and you kind of want to just check out whatever the hell it is that it may or may not added into your building requirements, you usually will go into your regular materials. I can't really say I know where in the list most of these settlement objects will pop up into, due to the fact that I kind of just don't pay attention to where they go. And the fact that some of my mods do interrupt with a lot of my other mods, so I really don't know how all these guys function. I don't believe this connects to anything. So I kind of really don't want to waste your time by coming into my settlements, building them up. There are a lot of places that I have had heavily modded into. A lot of this is actually pretty vanilla. This is vanilla, but the mod that I have for this will bring up your generators to about 500. This is a really easy way of having a lot of power for your settlements. It's a lot cleaner than just having a whole bunch of smaller generators cluttering around in your settlements. I kind of like having mine on top of my roofs because it's up and out of the way. Your settlers can't really touch it. I do have no attack mod on, so my areas will not be attacked or messed with, so even though the defense is pretty low, it won't really be bothered with. I don't really need the defense really high at this moment, even though there are at least 12 settlers. Usually what is recommended is you have at least, you get every settler times that by 5, and that's how much defense you really want to have in a settlement. Usually your best way to defend your areas are with turrets. And you will have that in the regular menu. Right now I have the pack for the turrets. I like using the 14 defense ones the most. These guys don't really work as much as I would like them to. Oh wait, I have more of these guys than I thought I did. So you're going to want to really be careful of using some of these with your NPCs. If they are your settlers, I imagine that your defense system actually does not harm them. I have not fully come in here and tested this yet. The best one is the Fat Man turret. This is part of the pack that I have. Currently, I'm not sure if this is actually vanilla in-game, something that you can require for any reasons. If it is, I guess I just haven't been playing the game as much. So the perks that you're going to want to have whenever building are, of course, the armored, the blacksmith, the gun nut, the medic. This one isn't as required. You may want also the fortune finder. This will allow you to pick up more items. The scrounger will also help you pick up more items if you kind of have, like, if you're not really heavily modded like I am. Explosive is not a really big thing. Science is a good one to have. Chemist is pretty okay, but it's not really required for any of your settlement building areas. The Nuclear physicist, that one isn't really required. The sciences is actually pretty good. The scrapper pretty much helps you use less for all your materials, so this is just because. So I pretty much have most of the things that you're going to want to have in order for you to build turrets and whatnot around in your settlements for them to pretty much be little kick-ass forts. However, if you do not have the no attacks settlement, they will cry if you don't come to the defense. It doesn't really matter how high your defense is for that particular settlement. If you do not come in here and save the day, they will just cry and have their shit all broken. You will lose a pretty good amount of settlers, which is a pain in the freaking ass to deal with. Gosh darn it, I fell down. This is another reason why I kind of like having all this system up here on top of the roof, because it's up away for most of the settlers. You can kind of target a little bit better. A good amount of the system kind of just has raiders, ghouls, super mutants, what have you, come into your settlement. A good amount of the time it's kind of within your settlement building area, because that's just the way that it's scripted. You can't really do a lot about that other than to get the no attack system, because it just basically if there are bad guys around that usually do not spawn within your settlement, these will still attack them. So don't worry, these systems do work. So with the no attack system, you necessarily do not need to have like this much defense anywhere on any of your settlements. Sadly, even with the no attack system, your settlers will ask you for help. A lot of the times, there's nothing that you could do against that. If there is a mod that discontinues that, I would love to know where I can get it, because I personally just don't like going around trying to help people get back their kidnapped settlers, because it's kind of a waste of my time. However, it does open up a lot of the mapping system, so if you want to keep that on, that's perfectly fine. It'll allow you to go through the map a lot faster. It'll help you find a good amount of other settlements, areas that you have not yet found. And a good amount of the times it's just you going in there, wiping out whichever baddie. Usually it's raiders, gunners, minions. One of those guys will likely end up having kidnapped, stolen something, what have you, and then you have to go in there and pretty much go and clean up the mess, just to be like, okay, done. So even if the area is cleared, a lot of the time things can respawn in there. I have not yet done that. So as you can see, I have some DLCs already activated. This one's the Nuka-Cola World DLC. If you do not have this DLC, I will have to warn you ahead of time. This DLC is actually pretty heavy. It doesn't exactly go with the regular vanilla in-game Boston storyline. It pretty much goes against a lot of the story. Vault-Tec is not really a hard one. It's very simple. You can blow through this really quickly. This is just regular vanilla stuff. This is the Adamantium. I really wish that they kind of did something different with this one. It would have been cooler if you went outside of Boston to go and figure this out instead of being inside of Boston, but whatever. That one I can't do. The Far Harbor one, in order for you to activate that one, you have to have Nick Valentine. I already skipped the one where I have to go and find him in Vault 111. I believe I did skip that. So he should be waiting over there for me in Diamond City. So as you may have seen earlier in one of my videos, I said that I was over at Diamond City. That's actually a lie. I skipped an important thing, so a lot of the actual in-game scripted scenes that you would have seen when you first go to the Diamond City will not be done for you, so heads up. I'm going to quickly go back to Sanctuary. With the Wasteland DLC, this is an add-on that you can actually add on to your system already. It is likely part of the season pack that you can get, but basically you can put down traps, cages for mongrels, death claws, pretty much any wasteland creature that you may come across in the regular vanilla Boston area. There will need it to be bait. You will have to have the building materials for that. There's a system that you could put down.
Hey, do you have a moment? I wanted to thank you for helping us out in Concord. If only we'd run into you sooner.
Don't mention it.
I'm
You
a
guys
lot
have been through
taller than
hell,
you for
huh?
some reason.
You have no idea. In these past few months,
So if you've noticed,
lost everything.
this is actually
son,
not the
he's-
regular vanilla in-game character system for these guys. I added in a
understand how you
mod
feel.
to make them look a little bit more unique. I do actually very much like
Lost
it
someone too.
But you and I,
than the
should
regular
heal, right?
vanilla. They kind of
We
look
have
a
to
lot
go on.
sadder
For them.
than they currently are. Basically, this poor guy lost his kid. Him and his wife are dealing with it differently than the other is. His wife, Marcy, I believe that's how you pronounce her name, is acting differently than him. She
better not
basically
cause any
believes
trouble.
that her husband needs her to be in control of the situation for him to feel okay, but once you get the things settled here in Sanctuary, he starts to actually become more and more of a person.
You want my
So
keycap? We
she
should keep moving. Don't want to be
Is
pinned down when the raiders come.
very much a delight to talk to at all the times. She's dealing with the loss of their child as well as anybody else would deal with the loss of their child, so I'm going to give her that much. And I really don't want you in there. But whatever.
You willing to do some work?
I'd be glad to help. Just
So I
tell
did
me what
say
you need.
earlier that I was
Well,
going
for
to skip
starters,
a
we
lot
could
of
use
the
some real
main
dirt. Just make sure we can sleep with
missions
the roof
right now,
over. There's a workbench over
seeing
there
as that
you
I
can
already
use.
have
Give
Sanctuary
me a holler
up
if
and
you need
running.
Mm-hmm.
I just have to wait for the initial markers to come up and pop up. I already have all the beds set up, I have all the water set up, all the food set up, and all the defense set up. So
Hey,
I could just
Sturgis.
breeze right
I
through
like
this.
Having a place to sleep will improve everyone's spirits. What we need now is a reliable source of clean water.
I'm on it. Clean water coming up.
Great. Thanks again.
Hey, Sturgis.
I feel better already, knowing we have a
So
reliable
sometimes you
supply
just
of
have to
clean
wait
water.
for the
I hope you
marker
don't mind me asking for some
to
more
come
help,
up and let you know
but our
that you've
food supplies
completed
are
it
running
all the way
low.
up to
If we're
100%.
gonna settle here, we'll need to
You
get some
can
crops
just come and talk
established.
to him. He'll basically just reassign you to a new thing. So just wait for the markers on there on the side to check mark off. Yep.
I'll start planting right away.
Good deal.
Sturgis.
Now, this place is starting to feel like home. Now that we can grow our own food, I think we can really make a go with this. Trouble is, the more we establish ourselves here, the more of a target we become. What we need is to get some defenses set up. Then maybe Preston will be able to relax a little bit.
I'm on it.
Ah, thanks. It'll make everyone feel more secure here.
Hey, Sturgis.
Thanks for doing that. We'll all sleep better at night knowing we have some defenses set up. It's been a long road. But yeah, I think this is it. Home. Feels good.
I was glad to help.
Well, I appreciate it. Of course, you know you're welcome anytime. My door's always open to you. Windows, too. Some of the walls, actually, come to think of it. I guess I better get back to it. Take care now.
Okay, now that I have everybody in here. I could definitely start assigning them to some mark areas. Okay. So sometimes when the people from Concord come in here, they will actually just assign themselves. Usually they'll assign themselves to the food. So I'll double check if they're actually assigned to the dang food. Yeah, it looks like they did assign themselves. So it looks like Mama Murphy assigned herself to food. Usually Marcy assigns herself to food. Wherever she might be. Okay, so Mama Murphy, I would like you to come and live in this house, please. There we go. Now, if you're wondering where all the other settlers will end up being, they're going to come in here because you have your workshop in here. They like coming and pretty much being a part of the workshop area. Sometimes it's really hard to find them. Okay, so you're not really assigned to anything because I don't have anything right now. Okay, so I want to say that these planters come from either the workshop DLC that you could download, or maybe the Vault-Tec DLC that is also downloadable. These will allow you to have little planters for your settlers to come and plant areas, so you can have a nice, neater area that you use instead of just having dirt. However, you can only put so many plants into these little planters. These also... Actually, I want to say it's either DLC or part of a mod that I have. I forget which is which. These little planters are definitely from a mod that I currently have. Be careful of a Pacific one. This one. Do not put this in your settlement. This will kill your settlers. Sorry for being really loud. But it will just murderize your poor little settlers. Usually the best item to have for your settlers to grow is the carrots. They're a lot easier for you to speak with your settlers if you need to speak with them for any reason. They're a lot easier for you to come in, do whatever the hell it is that you need to do. So basically, knee-high stuff is the best. If you have all these different types of plants, just plant them in your farm. Grow pretty much everything that's edible. Doesn't matter if it's gross looking or not. I like having everything and anything that I can pick up. Green fungus. these blood leaves, they only go in water, so you won't be able to have them out here on your planters. So if you have, pardon me, if you have an area that you can go and place them into the water, that would be really great. However, your best bet is to try and keep your areas clean. Go and make sure that you have an area to which you want to make sure that your settlers are just doing their farming. Just try and have just one designated area for that, because it's just easier for you to maintain where your settlers are in case if you need to go and find them. So I have a whole bunch of different kinds of food. Okay. So I imagine that John was the only one who was not engaged in doing something. Sanctuary is a really great place to have farmers. I personally like having like a lot of people come in here, be guards, farmers, sellers. This is one of my favorite places to come and have like a designated area for you, because it's the easiest for you to find. It used to be the main reason why I have the Super Duper Mart here in this area, because I love the way it feels. It's a lot easier for you to build in here. If for any reason you don't want settlers to go outside of the little mark areas where you can't come into and basically scrap anything, just have the area clean. They can go in there if they feel like. I personally like having my shops around here inside the little Super Duper Mart. Personally, my favorite areas to do so is right here would be the little bar area for me, and then upstairs I have my trading booth up here for my little Vault-Tec guy. Then I would bring a couple of more stores inside there. I would have a Nuka-Cola themed store in here. And have some people living down in here. So if you're not aware of where it is exactly that we are actually in the belly of the plane. This would be known as the pit or the aft. Basically, this is where most of the baggage would go for the planes. I believe this would be where it would go, if I remember working with the airlines correctly. Sorry, I'm kind of having a hard time going upstairs. This would be the area where people, would fly. Up here, as you can see, this was already set in. A good amount of this was already set in here. I didn't have to build any of this. I don't like doors, but I'll leave that open. So this is pretty much the body of the plane that they have the Super Duper Mart sign on top. I am not sure which one would. I believe this is the nose of the plane because as you can see the little cockpit area up there. So that would be the cockpit. So the top half would be where all the passengers would go, and the bottom half would be where all the baggage would go, unless it was a one of those double-decker planes where they had people riding on both the top and the bottom, which it looks large enough to be a double-decker plane, but I have no idea if they actually existed way back in 1940s, 1930s, around there, because this is where that's basically where the area works off. So I'm going to pretty much end my broadcast right there. Right now I'm just going to come in here, build up a bit, come back, start broadcasting a bit of what I put where and why, mostly. So for now, I bid you adieu, and until next time.